If you are confused on which of these two cameras to get, today I want to compare them so you can make a better decision if you're looking to buy one of them. You need to know that this video is not sponsored, and I am not the kind of person that likes to glaze the products that I test, and in this video I am going to compare the video quality, the low light performance, the stabilization, and other important details. This one here is the Insta360 Go Ultra, and this other one is the DJI Osmo Nano. One of the main features of these two cameras is that they are very small. They are waterproof down to 10 meters and they have a super low weight of around 52 grams. This is going to allow you to mount the camera, for example, on your head or your chest with some of the accessories that you get when you buy either device. And the size is perfect for vlogging videos where you want to be more discreet, or if you need to place them on a tight space where other cameras are not going to fit. The back is magnetic, and this combined with a low weight is perfect to mount them on a metallic surface. The Nano has the advantage that the bottom is also magnetic, so it's more flexible to use in a different position. And I like that it comes with this suction mount that can be used on a window, for example. I feel that the build quality is very good on both cameras, but for me, the Go Ultra has a more premium look, and the material seems to be more premium as well. I really like the extra tally light at the top of the camera, and Insta360 shows not to put the brand in the front, so it has a cleaner design. But the shape of the Nano is a bit more practical if you need to place it on a flat surface. This matters because the orientation of your video depends on the position of the camera, so if I place them like this, they are going to record in horizontal mode, and if we take a closer look, the Ultra is not going to be very stable. If you want to record in vertical mode, these cameras need to be in this other position, but the Ultra cannot stand by itself because this side is not flat. But a simple solution that I found is to use the hat clip as a support in the back like this. The Nano and the Ultra have a second component where you can mount the main camera. For the Nano, this is the multifunctional vision dock, and for the Go Ultra, this is the action pod. These are not waterproof, and if we turn them around, you can see that the screen is bigger on the Ultra, which is really nice. But the downside for some people is that this combo is heavier and it feels bigger, just like any other action camera. For vlogging videos, on the Nano, you can turn the camera around so the screen is facing yourself, and on the Ultra, the screen can be flipped all the way around like this. What I really love about the dock and the pod is that you can use them as a remote control and still see a live view of the camera. The range is supposed to be about 10 meters, but I was able to use them when I was 30 meters away and I had no issues whatsoever. On the Ultra, it is possible to review the videos that you have on the memory without having to attach the main camera on the action pod. And on the Nano, this is not possible, so every time that you need to take a look at your videos, you will need to attach the camera to the vision dock, which can be annoying sometimes. The Go Ultra doesn't have an internal memory, and instead, you can open this door where you can insert a microSD card up to 2 terabytes. The Nano doesn't have a memory slot on the main camera, but it has an internal memory of 64 or 128 gigabytes. I highly recommend to get the 128 gigabyte version. It's only about $30 more expensive, but you're going to be able to record for 2 hours and a half or more depending on the resolution. On the Vision dock, you can insert a microSD card up to 1 terabyte, and this will let you transfer the videos from the internal memory. But the main camera needs to be attached to the Vision dock. The process has to be done manually, and it takes about 16 minutes to transfer 50 gigabytes using a fast memory card. And I can see this being a problem if the internal memory gets full when you are making content. These two cameras can record with a maximum resolution of 4K with a very similar bitrate of around 100 megabits per second using H.265. And if your main purpose is to shoot some videos for social media, I feel that both cameras are going to do a good job. And side by side, you might not see a big difference, but after shooting hundreds of videos, I realized that in reality, each camera has a slight advantage over the other one. For example, videos that I shot in 4K at 24 frames per second, in situations where there was a lot of brightness, I noticed that the Ultra tends to protect the highlights in a better way and the shadows seem to be more balanced. Where on the Osmo Nano, the highlights are a bit too high and the shadows are a bit too dark. On the other hand, the Nano can record using 10-bit color even on the normal color profile. And I feel that the colors straight out of the camera are more vivid, where on the Ultra, it seems to have less saturation. This doesn't mean that one looks better than the other one, so it really comes down to what you like the most. The Nano has the upper hand if you record using the D-Log-M profile, where you're going to be able to capture more information. So there is going to be a higher dynamic range, and you can color grade your videos to match other devices from DJI or other cameras as well. I know some users don't like to use this profile because you have to edit your videos and not everyone likes to do that. But inside the DJI Mimo app, you can apply the color recovery in just one step. But this can be time consuming if you don't know how to edit a video on your computer, for example. The Osmo Nano and the Go Ultra can record using 60 frames per second at 4K, which is great if you want to slow down your videos in post, like the ones that you're looking at right now. And I really like the video quality that we get with this frame rate on both cameras, not only when there is plenty of sunlight, but also on cloudy days. What I found to be interesting is that the issues about the shadows and the highlights on the Nano only happens at 24 frames per second in normal mode, but not if you record using 60 frames per second or if you record in D-Log-M at any frame rate. So hopefully DJI can actually fix this at some point. On both cameras, you can select a slow motion video mode, and this is going to record at 120 frames per second. And here, the Nano has the advantage because this can be done in 4K resolution, and you can even record in D-Log-M, but the downside is that you're not getting any kind of stabilization. The Go Ultra has a lower resolution of 2.7K, but you can still use the stabilization system. And one more thing to know about this is that they are both going to have a low bitrate of around 30 megabits per second. These two cameras have a low light video mode that can be used to record videos in low light situations. This is going to help to increase the brightness and apply a denoiser at the same time. So what you're going to notice is more brightness with less noise. The Nano doesn't support D-Log-M with this mode, and the maximum frame rate that you can use on both cameras is 30 frames per second. I was expecting better results from the Ultra because the size of the sensor is slightly larger than the one on the Nano. But after comparing multiple videos side by side, it seems to me that the Nano has a bit more of details. Or maybe what's happening is that the Ultra is applying a stronger denoiser, and we actually need that to be more balanced. And I also found that the white balance and the color science has been more on point on the DJI Osmo Nano. Just to be clear, I'm not saying that you're going to get perfect results in low light conditions, because the small size of the sensor is a big limitation. But I am really glad that we can record videos that we can share on social media without looking like crap with a lot of noise. And listen, I'm not going to say any names, but these shots were taken with a popular action camera that is over $400. When it comes to the stabilization, the Nano and the Go Ultra have an electronic system that can do a very good job making your videos very stable. There is also a system that will keep the horizon straight in your video, even if you're tilting the camera to the left or the right. On the Ultra, this can be set to 45 or 360 degrees, but the downside is that this only works using 30 frames per second or lower. On the Nano, we can use the horizon balance up to 60 frames per second, which is great, and this is one of those features that sometimes goes under the radar, but this is actually very useful. The downside on the Nano is that the horizon balance only works up to 30 degrees, and then you also need to know that none of these cameras can use the horizon balancing when they use the low light video mode. For the battery life, the Nano can record for 63 minutes using a high bitrate in 4K at 24 frames per second. And if you use the camera with a vision dock, you're going to get around 2 hours and 20 minutes of recording time. The Go Ultra can record for 51 minutes, also using a high bitrate in 4K at 24 frames per second. And using the camera on the Action Pod, I was able to record for 2 hours and a half at 4K and 24 frames per second. Okay, so for the internal microphone, this is a quick test so you can hear how it sounds like. It's a test of the internal microphone. This is what it sounds like. It is a little bit windy, not too much, but there's a little bit of noise. Alright, so this is a test of the internal microphone. This is what it sounds like. It is a little bit windy, not too much, but there's a little bit of noise. You can use a wireless microphone with these two cameras. The Insta360 Mic Air is a good choice for the Ultra, although this camera only supports one mic at a time. For both cameras, you can use the DJI Mic 2, the new Mic 3, and the DJI Mic Mini. On the Nano, you can connect one or two of them. You can use different ones at the same time, and in my opinion, the sound and the quality of these microphones is very good. Let's take a look at this video. I am trying to do this a little bit quickly because I need to get going to the next location. It's about to be sunset and I really need to get back to my car and then... Is the DJI Osmo Nano the best choice for you, or should you get the Insta360 Go Ultra? There is no simple answer, and you need to think about those things that matter the most to you. For example, the Nano is great to edit and color grade with a 10-bit color D-Log-M profile, and in low light conditions, I feel that it has a slight advantage. For vlogging videos, the DJI microphones are going to have a higher audio quality, and I like the smaller form factor of the camera, which is great if we want to be more discreet. And having the same mount between different DJI cameras makes this an easy option when you need to swap your cameras in a quick and easy way. But the Go Ultra also has a great video quality. I like the results straight out of the camera in 4K 24 frames per second. The flip screen is excellent when I need to use the camera on a lower angle. Being able to use a micro SD card directly on the camera is a big plus, and I think that the Insta360 app has more to offer than the app from DJI. If price is something that you care about, you have to consider that the Ultra is more expensive. And it really caught my attention that the Nano, with a lower price, has two extra accessories, a protective case for the main camera, and this suction mount that you can use on a tripod as well. So I have to admit that with the DJI Nano, you're getting a lot of value for what you're paying. I know that you might have a lot of questions, so go ahead and ask in the comment section. The links to these products are going to be down below, and using any of them will support this channel. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I hope to see you soon in the next video. Bye.